Hi, it's Chris. Wanted to give you another example of classical conditioning. This is a true story, by the way, so let me read the question first. Larry has allergies. One afternoon he goes for a horse ride with his girlfriend. Midway through the ride, he develops allergy symptoms. Within 15 minutes, he needs to be rushed to the hospital because he can hardly breathe. Now, every time he sees a horse, even if it's on TV, his nose starts running and he feels short of breath. And your task is to identify the unconditioned and conditioned stimulus and the unconditioned and conditioned response. So before you even get started, think about what caused the initial behavior or response. What happened that required no learning whatsoever, and those will be your unconditioned stimulus and responses. Okay, here's the answer, and I'm going to go through why it is the answer. If you recall, I said the easiest thing to do is to start at the bottom and think about what initially happened that caused the initial reaction or behavior. So what initially happened was Larry had a severe allergic reaction, including respiratory distress. Now, you don't need to have it in those exact words, but that's the gist of it. And then you think, what caused that? And specifically what caused it was horse dander or horse hair. You then think, well, what was it linked to? What was horse dander linked to? And he linked it to a horse. So now that learning has happened, even if he sees a horse on TV, his nose starts running, he feels short of breath. Remember, for the top, you can ask yourself, does this make sense? And no, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense that if somebody sees a horse on TV that they would have an allergic reaction. But sure enough, this happens. People with asthma or severe allergies can actually start to have allergic reactions when they just see the item, even if they're not really exposed. And what's happened is there's been classical conditioning. So they've linked what they're actually allergic to seeing something, and then when they see it, their body physiologically starts to react. One of the possible answers is going to the hospital, and sometimes students put that, they put it down here with the unconditioned response, and the reason that's not correct is you can't have an instantaneous reaction of going to the hospital. Keep in mind, classical conditioning, you don't think about it, it just happens. So what just happened was there was the horse dander, the horse hair, and no thinking, no thought involved at all, he had an allergic reaction. So going to the hospital is actually something you need to plan out, and answers like that would never be correct because when you're talking classical conditioning, it's always going to be spontaneous. Okay, I have another example here. I'll read the question real quick. Sam is 3 years old. One night his father gives him a bath but does not check the temperature. Sam is slightly burned by the hot water. The next night when his father turns on the bath water, Sam becomes upset, fearful, crying, and runs from the bathroom. So, first question, what initially happened and what caused it? So what initially happened was Sam was burned by the hot water. And the response, which does not require any thinking, any thought, any learning, is the child cries. Any child would do that. You burn them, they're going to cry. Well, what did he link the hot water to? Well, he linked it to the sound of the bath water. Now, when he hears the bath water, he becomes upset, fearful, cries, and runs away. Does it make sense that a child, if they heard bath water, that it would cause a reaction? Well, no, just hearing it doesn't do anything to you. But if you have linked it with getting burned, then it would do something. Just like if your dog doesn't like to get a bath, you give them a bath the first time, and they don't like it. The next time you start doing the preparation to give them a bath, they're out of the room. It's because they've linked getting a bath with the preparation that's involved. So if you think about it, classical conditioning is in every aspect of your life. So if you have any questions, be sure you ask me, because these are things that we're going to be talking about throughout the semester, especially when we talk about phobias and the sexual disorders. This is very important, and I'm completely willing to go through it with you step by step, because once you get it, it really does make sense.